You ready? I think I'm in, mate. I am. How's that for timing, Joe? Welcome to Girton Cove Lake. Or should I say, hello CARPologists. Welcome to Girton Cove Lake. Today I'm going to be fishing with ready-tied rigs. The beauty of ready-tied rigs is that they take all the faff out of tying your own rigs. You can get fishing quickly. Mr. Joe over there was a little bit delayed on his travels in.
By delayed, he means 200 miles from the West Country to Lincoln.
Are you having that on record? I've come into this corner, seen a few showing, flicked a little solid bag on them, and it's gone straight away. And it's absolutely shredding me. I better concentrate on playing it. Gosh, what a start. One happy angler. Come on. Oh, the fully common. Well, there you have it. A bite just as Joe was coming into the swim after a very long drive. One of the ready-tied solid PVA bag rigs in a little solid PVA bag onto some showing fish, and it's gone within a matter of minutes. A brilliant start. We're on Girton Cove Lake. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting a few more bites using a variety of different ready-tied rigs in the Nash range. But as a start, brilliant, I'm buzzing. I can't wait to get the rods back out and hopefully get a few more. Mwah. So I've just slipped that common back, a great start. And what I've done just before sitting down to do a little bit of talking, I've got two rods out, both on single pop-ups, one on a Ronnie rig, one on a multi-rig, just in that same areas where I deployed the solid PVA bag. And in terms of the solid PVA bag, it's probably maybe the only ready rig that requires a bit of a unique setup. So what I've got, there's no leaders allowed here on Girton Cove Lake, so I've got main line straight through and I'm fishing it drop off inline style. So I've got a double ring swivel. And basically what I've done is knotted my main line onto that double ring swivel, but before I've done that I've slipped a little mini tail rubber on. Then I've connected the inline lead by pushing the swivel inside, putting the tail rubber over the top and trapping the line, and then I've looped to loop on the actual solid PVA bag ready rig. It's got a lovely size 6 claw hook on, a really good pattern for fishing that way. And then in terms of the hook bait, it's important that you have something neutrally buoyant and really responsive. My bag mix is full of small pellet, crumb, really light elements, and you want the hook bait to be as responsive as all that. There's no point having a big heavy bottom bait. You want the fish to suck up all the pellet and the hook bait in one mouthful, get your bite, and hopefully, as illustrated before, you can land your fish. So essentially that is a trimmed down 12mm Scopex squid yellow pop-up. It sits with a hook flat and that nice and proud and wafting above it. Into the bag all of that goes, tie it up, out on the spot, and as proved, it can get you a really, really quick bite. If I was fishing on more of a solid bottom where I sort of knew exactly what I was casting over, a firmer bottom, I probably wouldn't fish it drop off inline style, but because I was unsure of what's really out there and what I was presenting over and what weed situation was around, that's why I wanted to drop the lead and be in direct contact with the fish. As that spot's relatively clear, as I felt on the drop, I'll probably fish just conventionally straight through with maybe a bit of tubing and not drop the leads in future. But we'll see how the session pans out. There's sort of an unofficial rule here where I've got to try and catch a fish on each of these ready-tied rigs. So I can tick solid bags off the list for now, and hopefully one of these pop-ups will go in due course. Either way, I'm buzzing with a start. Well, we've had some typical textbook northern conditions, ridiculous rain. It's been pretty slow. I just went round and trickled a bit of bait over these two pop-ups, and I was just about to recast this one, hence why it's not on the rest, and the other one's gone. So maybe that little bit of bait has prompted some activity, and I believe This one is on the Ronnie with a little yellow 𝘃𝗶𝗀𝗲 pop-up. But I think just that little introduction of bait has been the key, really. Conditions have sort of steadied, hopefully. That's the end of the, inhospitable northern weather. And we're into another one. And concentrate on playing this in and not tangle it around the other line. And see if we can get a few more afterwards. Lovely, it's in the sunshine, mate. What more can you ask for? Well, bite number 2, and I can tick the old Ronnie claw rig off the list. Another common, like peas in a pod, similar size to the last one, a great scrap, but a result of putting a little bit of bait out on that same area where I'd seen him show and caught that one earlier with the solid bag. I've got a multi-rig out there, and hopefully we can soon tick that one off the list too. Cracking clean fish. Now that second common was caught on a Ronnie claw rig. We all know how devastating the Ronnie rig is. The reason, and I think that's probably the more important thing to talk about, that I'm using both a Ronnie claw rig and a multi-rig pop-up presentation is because I'm still casting very much at showing fish. I've not located an area or mark-leaded or anything. I'm pretty much seeing where the fish are showing and casting to them, and they seem to be showing right up tight against the far margin where there's a little patchy bits of interspersed weed as it's shallower water. The middle's very deep, but where we're casting and where the fish are showing is shallower. So I've opted for pop-ups purely to give you that little bit of buffer to try and remain sort of presented. If I used a bottom bait, it might get snarled up. So both the multi-rig and this Ronnie claw rig are absolutely perfect for that. They sit nice and proud. A little 12mm 𝘃𝗶𝗀𝗲𝗄 yellow pop-up sits above it. I've put some boilie and some pellet out over the top, and that has led to the bite. Now I've got a multi-rig still out there, so hopefully I'll be able to catch on another pop-up presentation, and then it may be a case later of looking at a spot and fishing hard on the deck on the bottom on a really clean area, and maybe amassing some fish in that manner. Either way, it's a good start. Let's hope it continues. Well, it's happened. The multi-rig has now gone. There was a spell where there wasn't that much activity. The fish weren't really showing. They started showing again on that far margin where the sun's hitting the water. And if this does the right thing and comes in, I've ticked off all the pop-up rigs. And it'll be time to change tact. The gamble of coming over here and flicking pop-ups onto showing fish looks like it's paid off. They all scrapping here. There we go. The old pink 𝘃𝗶𝗀𝗲𝗄 pop-up on a multi. Lovely little mirror. Well, as quick as that, although I think it's come, oh no, it's not, it's running towards me. As quick as that, it's gone again. Unbelievable spell of feeding activity. A bite on the multi-rig and a bite on the other multi-rig by the looks of it. And one net. One net. You can't bring 2 nets, can you? Because that's just showing off. So 1 net, but you can do the honours for me. Well, you can't because you got to film, but we might have to pinch your net, mate, to net this. Yay! 2 commons, 2 mirrors. Beautiful symmetry. And cheers, Joe, for borrowing your net, mate. I love the assist. Well, I was going to go maybe set up on the other side because we'd seen some fish again showing and get some bottom baits out and fish a spot, but I couldn't resist putting a Ronnie straight back out where I had that last bite from on the multi-rig, and off it's gone. See if we can make it a hat trick. That's a proper little chunk, that is. Get in, 2 in 1 net. Cheers again, Joe, mate. Needed another net. So while those fish are resting, it'd be silly of me to move. I've had 3 quick bites in an area. I've got bottom bait rigs left to go. So I've switched to a bottom bait, in this case a fluoro D rig with a little pink squid wafter hook bait. I've got a little stick mix bag of 𝘃𝗶𝗀𝗲 moist stick mix just to buffer in case I do land on any light weed or anything there. I am going to feel for the drop and try and make sure that I'm on a firm area because I've got a bottom bait, but I'm going to get it out there in the pond and try and capitalise on this bite time. Well, my first mirror and my first multi-rig victim. A little pink 𝘃𝗶𝗀𝗲 pop-up on that multi-rig, out there over a little bit of bait. Off it went. A lovely, plump, well-conditioned mirror. Let's get him back. There's a few more to take a look at as well. And there is the second mirror, shortly following that other one. And again to the multi-rig. A crazy looking thing, a loppy tail, real high shoulders, mega scrap. And there's still one more to show you. It's been a busy few minutes. There's number 3 in that flurry of activity. I couldn't resist putting another Ronnie rig out, even though I'd already caught one on a Ronnie. They were feeding on the spot, and this is the result. Probably the biggest fish I've had today, actually. A chunky, thick-set mirror, and like all the Gert and Cove Lake fish, unbelievable fight, and as clean as a whistle. Get the fish, I'll have some stills, mate. Crazy times. I just literally slipped that third one back, and the fluorocarbon slip D rig that I put on with that little stick just as a buffer has ripped off. Great bite, fishing across there again to that far margin, a nice solid drop, and off it's gone. And hopefully we can tick our first bottom bait rig, or wafter rig, which I'm using at the moment, a little pink squid wafter on it. We can tick this off the list too. Yes! Fluoro D, tick. Ever the opportunist, the Fluoro D rig has worked. While that fish is just resting in the net, I'm going to quickly get a blowback rig, and in this case it is a ring blowback rig. There's 2 types, a tube version and a ring version. I've chosen the ring version. I'm going to get it back out on that spot and try and capitalise on another bite and another rig ticked off the list. I'm fingers and thumbs because it is busy, frantic, and it's been very good. I'm getting a little cheeky anti-tangle sleeve nipped onto the hook length. That little stick again just to ensure I've got a bit of security in case I land on light weed, but I am going to feel for a firm drop. And once it's on the lead system, let's get it out in the pond. I am, which I actually think is helping, only putting 1 rod back out at a time. Now, if I had 3 lines in that area, I might still get bites because the fish are clearly over there, but I think that might cut some fish off. So just by fishing the 1 rod, I think that's maximising the chances of fishing in that area. And fingers crossed, it leads to another one. We're in, aren't we? I don't really know what to say. I've just clipped the bobbin on, Joe's just turned the bite cam on, and that blowback rig has gone. Yeah, when a plan comes together it is good, but it is at the moment absolutely stupendous. I don't know if that's 5 or 6 bites on the bounce within the space of probably 45 minutes, maybe even less. It's yeah, it's certainly working, and hopefully we can get this in, get another rod wrapped up, and a slip D rig out back on that spot because the fish are clearly there. Thanks, Joe, again for the loan of the net, mate. Well, flipping hell, it is busy, mate, isn't it? I don't think I've got too many ready rigs left to go. I'm onto the slip D rig, and my lead setup the whole way through, as you can see here, has been tungsten tubing, as are the rules on this venue, a heavy duty lead clip, a square lead to balance on those shells that I'm casting on across the far side and the far margin, a little anti-tangle sleeve, and then the rig itself. And that has been the same for all my bottom bait and wafter rigs. The only rig that's been any different has been the Solid Bag Rig that I used initially at the very start. Simple, effective, reliable and safe. Let's get it back out and see if we can get a slip D cork carp. There it is, the Fluoro D rig and the little wafter. And here is the fish. Probably the smallest I've had today, but beautiful nonetheless. A result again of fishing just that one rod across there with that little stick. And I hope Joe's illustrated, but with every carp I have put little carp care propolis just on the hook holds, just to make sure that the fish itself is in the best nick possible. It goes back to grow onto, who knows. Let's get this one back, show you another. Well, here is a rather angry, bristling plump mirror. On the blowback rig, we do two versions, the ring version and the silicone version. This was on the ring version. You can choose your preference. They're both equally as effective. And I think, if I'm right, I don't know, that only leaves me one rig left to catch a carp on to complete the set. So I'm going to slip this one back after some stills and hopefully land that last fish. Either way, a massive thanks to Gerton, a massive thanks to Joe. It's been hectic, but so enjoyable. I don't know how many we've caught. I don't know what rig I'm on. It's been absolutely ridiculous. The last hour and a half, 2 hours has just been bite after bite after bite. Ridiculous. I think, I'm hoping, I'm pretty sure this is on the Slip D, which I think also is the last ready rig that I've got with me. So if this ends up in the bag, this may be job done. And Joe, you can get some rods out. Maybe not in this swim because I might put a few more out, because while you've got feeding fish, you can't pass up that opportunity. It's been ridiculous. And to be fair, we started around midday. It's what, 5 o'clock now? Relatively slow sort of through the middle part of the day. And then, yeah, it's been absolutely ridiculous this afternoon. Ridiculous fun, an incredible venue. I've had a lovely time, and it shows you just how effective ready rigs are, not only in making sure you've got an effective rig that you know works, but there's a list of components, so you know exactly how to, if you wanted to, tie your own version. And for pure convenience, if you're a family man or if you're on limited time and you haven't got time to tie your rigs, or you don't like tying rigs, get on the ready rigs, and as proven here, you can have a great day's sport with no dramas and no rig tying, apart from putting maybe a anti-tangle sleeve and a bit of putty on, and a bait obviously, but as good as it gets. Look at him rooking down this margin. Lovely times. Whee! Mission accomplished, I think. What a session, mate. Time for us to get some rods out, get some well-earned rest, have a brew. I've not even done that today, but I hope that illustrates the effectiveness, not only of a brilliant venue, but some good ready-tied rigs. Well, there it is, the last piece to the puzzle, the Slip D rig, the last Nash ready rig that I had, and it has gone with a lovely plump mirror. It has been an unbelievable 5 hours or so fishing, especially the last hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours or so. So many quality fish, all the rigs covered. It's been ultra simple fishing, just that one rod, the right place with those reliable ready rigs. I hope it also inspires you to give ready rigs a go. There is a lot of stigma around them. They're not for people who are beginners, they're for everybody. They make angling accessible, they make sure you're fishing safe and effectively. You can catch your own fish. A massive thanks to Joe. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and you picked up a few tips. I hope you give the ready rigs a go, and hopefully I'll see you again soon. Mwah. That is a wrap, mate. What a few hours, boy.